got out, I was in that. I was already through that. I had that. I had the studio. I went to the studio, went to Vox Studios. I had it all. And I looked at it and I said, this is a bigger jail than I just got out of. I don't want to take my time going to work. I got a motorcycle and a sleeping bag and 10 or 15 girls. What the hell I want to go off and go to work for? Work for what? Money? I got all the money in the world. I'm the king, man. I run the underworld, guy. I decide who does what and where they do it at. When am I going to run around and act like I'm some teeny bop or somewhere for somebody else's money? I make the money, man. I roll the nickels. The game is mine. I deal the cards. 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 The game is mine. I deal with 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 cards. I went to the studio, went to Vox Studios. I had it all. And I looked at it and I said, this is a bigger jail than I just got out of. I don't want to take my time going to work. I got a motorcycle and a sleeping bag and 10 or 15 girls. What the hell I want to go off and go to work for? Work for what? Money? I got all the money in the world. I'm the king, man. I run the underworld, guy. I decide who does what and where they do it at. What am I going to run around and act like I'm some teeny bop or somewhere for somebody else's money? I make the money, man. I roll the nickels. The game is mine. I deal the cards. The game is mine. I deal the cards. The game is mine. I deal with cards. The game is mine. I deal with cards. He come to me with money in his hand. He offered me. I didn't ask him. I wasn't knocking someone's door down. I was running from that. When I got out, I was in that. I was already through that. I had that. I had the studio. I went to the studio. Went to Vox Studios. I had it all. And I looked at it and I said, this is a bigger jail than I just got out of. I don't want to take my time going to work. I got a motorcycle and a sleeping bag and 10 or 15 girls. What the hell I want to go off and go to work for? Work for what? Money? I got all the money in the world. I'm the king, man. I run the underworld, guy. I decide who does what and where they do it at. What am I going to run around and act like I'm some teeny bop or somewhere for somebody else's money? I make the money, man. I roll the nickels. The game is mine. I deal with cards. 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 The game is mine.
Well, yeah, that was, I don't know. I guess I don't know what I was expecting. I feel like so there's already a question that got asked that I was thinking I would, I don't know how I would have fit it in. Maybe I wouldn't have asked it if he didn't had said it. But there was a question asked that I'll ask later. But like it's relevant to what I'm about to say. I just wasn't sure what you were gonna play. I just didn't know. Like, because every time I feel like I've watched your Instagram reels, any of the times that you play on your show, any of the times that you go out and play, like you're playing a crap load of different genres,
For sure.
and it's just like you just don't know what you're gonna get. At least that's where I'm at. I'm like, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Is how did what are you wanting to play the most right now? Like, what is like the echo sound at the moment?
I feel like what I just played for sure. Um, oh,
Yeah, you just double checking.
yeah. I mean, being in Detroit for the first time this year for Movement, and then
Yeah.
seeing Submerge, and then the
Totally.
Motown Museum, just the city itself, meeting people there.
Yeah.
Seeing all those artists that are like foundational to the genre.
Yeah.
Seeing how they play it there and just having the extra context for that, and then also going to Berlin for the first time this year,
Yeah.
which we're lucky to do, and just like seeing just like the level of like infrastructure there, but then also like kind of the Detroit connection in terms of just like infrastructure of the city. Like
Yeah.
Detroit still has to rebuild after like their the loss of like the industrial core of the city.
Yeah.
And Berlin had to rebuild after the wall, and then after World War II, just
Right.
they rebuilt kind of faster and stuff.
Yeah.
So you see like the connection between the two, and then like it's the same genre of music, but it's played kind of differently. So I like old school Detroit and Chicago techno stuff because like it has this like kind of rawness to it, and it just like
Definitely.
it goes pretty hard in my opinion.
Fact.
But then also like with the more modern Berlin kind of sound, like the stuff I heard out there, like they play in a way that just makes the speakers sound like they're gonna explode, like not in like a redlining way, but just in a like they're just getting everything they can out of it in terms of like the sound design.
Yeah.
So like after both of those trips, I've just been trying to think of like, okay, how can we combine the two? How can you get like that Berlin style like bass that's just like shaking the room, and then like maybe layer on top like an old school Detroit or Chicago track from the 90s that is a great song, but it's just like not mastered in a modern way and won't hit the way I want it to hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So I think that was like where I'm at.
I mean, nailed it. Like that's because the like as because you don't produce at all.
I do, but I don't put anything out.
Not really. Like I mean, you just produce more for yourself just to like experiment.
Yeah, hardware stuff and a bit on the DAW as well, but
yeah. I feel like for a lot of people, at least a lot of like DJs that I know that are like pretty much just selectors and like always like digging for stuff, blending those old tracks with the new tracks is like something. I mean, that's something that I love doing. I love finding like old 90s jungle and then figuring out a way to blend that into modern day jungle or drum and bass, and but like the toughest part is like on the mixer, because like the mastering of the old 90s shit compared to the stuff that's playing now, like I've even had people hit me up before being like, oh, why are like your highs boosted and like the lows boosted up and the mids are kind of like down? I was like, well, everything was mastered different from the time span of 92 to 2025. So I was like, you gotta like fuck with that. And sitting back there like jamming super hard, I was getting way into it. Like I swear, every transition, I was just making audible sounds, just like oh, like it was so good.
Thanks.
And but like I'm back there watching levels too, making sure that like everything's sounding clean, and like you kept it just, you nailed it. Like I didn't have to adjust almost at all the entire time. I was like, wow, this is kind of incredible. Like you were hitting at like the sweet spot the whole time, which is for this most recent reboot of Basement Jams, this last 10 episodes, I haven't had that experience with any other DJ. I've had to like sit there and like make sure everything was super clean, not hitting too hard on the red the whole time. You're just like on it. Just says a lot about your craft and like how well you know your tracks and the mixer. How long have you been DJing? Like,
Yeah, since 2019, but it's been kind of like a long road. I started like just on, I think like the FLX4 of then was like the SP3, so like the cheapest one you could get.
Yeah.
And I was initially doing more like hip hop kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like I opened for a few rappers when they came here and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah.
But then like 2020, I started putting out mixes on my own on SoundCloud.
Right.
And those were like more electronic focused, nothing super deep.
Yeah.
But like just like electronic music that I liked, and then a lot of different kinds of genres. And I feel like that's like, you know, just that time alone making myself put out like a mix or two every month, like that taught me how to blend genres a lot.
Totally.
And then once things opened back up, still doing kind of hip hop stuff, but then got introduced to, I guess, the whole rave scene here back in 2020, late 2022.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh shit, let me learn how to do this.
Serious.
So, yeah, I just learned how to use like CDJs like late 2023-ish, and really started taking, I feel like, it all seriously probably around May, actually say July of last year.
Yeah.
And by seriously, I mean just like practicing every day and like digging every week.
Totally. I mean, it shows. It's like in a huge way.
Thank you.
I mean, Steve put me on what you were doing and was like, yeah, you got to check this out. And I was like, holy shit. Like instantly, like this is so sick. And it's crazy to hear that, like, there's this, well, it's Jack and I have talked about it a lot. There's this turnover that's happening right now with all of these younger DJs that are doing really cool stuff and are leaving Minnesota. We're just like, guys, like, stop. Like, because in our minds, like Jack and I specifically, you know, we've talked about what we want to see the future of like the music culture in this state, and the word culture gets thrown around a lot and community gets thrown around a lot, and I think it just maybe isn't always used properly. I think sometimes it's like a buzzword to like try to like create this idea of something happening when the word gets used, but then there's no real community behind it. There's like and it's brutal because when Jack and I grew up in the scene, it was a community. Like you would go out there, those were like your people. Like that was your family. You went out there not just dance, but to be around people that you like cared about and like enjoy something together. And it's harder and harder to find that right now. I think there's like this turnover happening, and it doesn't help when all of these younger kids that are doing really cool stuff are leaving. But it's really interesting to me. Like what's got you into the mindset of wanting to explore different places? Is it just like where you are in life, or is it like an artistic idea? Or
that's a great question. It was like the confluence of a lot of different things at once.
Yeah.
I made the decision. I started thinking about leaving like the end of last year, and then I like officially made the decision like early January of this year.
Yeah.
And that decision came from me like really trying to think about like where I've been happy and where I've been inspired. Just because of like my old job, I was going to New York like 2 or 3 times a year for the last like 3 years. And every time I went there, I just had like a great time, not even doing like super touristy stuff.
Right.
But like just kind of living and existing. And then, you know, being able to go to places like BASSment nowadays, Knockdown Center. I went to a Wire Festival at Knockdown Center last year, which was like just an insane experience. Like I had never like experience like dance floors like that and that
Yeah.
kind of like loss of like inhibition and like a crowd. Like we have that here, and we're really blessed to have the infrastructure we have here.
Yeah.
But there's of course infrastructure on another level there.
Yeah.
And then I had a trip this year in February that just really solidified it in terms of like, you know, oh, my sister's thinking about moving there. All these people I already know here are like receptive to the idea of me being out here. Saw a great concert, and I was like, okay. And then also like all of the stuff in the news with like, you know, Trump's attacks on public media.
Yeah.
My job was in public media, and you know, we wouldn't exist without the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Totally.
And now the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is gone. So it's like that brought into my head like, okay, let me take things into my own hands. And then also like I'm 26.
Yeah.
I feel myself, not time's never like running out, but I could like anything could happen to make it so that I can't do this. So let me do this while I can. Just to say I tried.
Absolutely. I mean, yes. 26. So old now. 26 is such a good time to be doing this, and to be at the skill level you're at with the selection that you have and the knowledge base that you've like created. Because I mean, that's a thing that I think a lot of people also don't really, which it's a part of like the culture, like is you have to learn history, and it takes time and effort to do that.
Yes.
And as a thing that where I feel like the word culture gets used as a buzzword, because people say culture, like this is about the culture, and then they just go the sound system, culture, and I'm like, that's not. No, it's like you need to look more into it than that. Like you've been traveling, you've been in Germany, you've been in Detroit, you've been playing all over the map, actually trying to understand and soak in culture in these places and where this has all like started from, which is so sick.
Yeah.
So really cool to get to hear that that's like been a part of your journey, and at 26, which is really fucking phenomenal. Like,
Thanks.
I don't even remember what the fuck I was. It probably wasn't. I think I was just working. I was working super hard, but like wasn't on any level of what you're doing musically right now. This is sick. Like it hurts my feelings that you're so young. I'm like, damn. But it's fucking cool, man. Like how did you get influenced or interested in specifically this genre type of music?
Yeah. You know, I feel like it was just experiencing it. You know, I worked at Radio K when I was in college, and through that, like, you get into everything because you just have to play everything because it's on the schedule.
Yeah.
And then, like, I had this job the summer after my freshman year in college where I was just, like, sitting at a computer waiting for numbers to come in and just, like, copy and pasting the numbers.
Okay.
So, like, I would sit down and listen to discographies in a whole day.
Sick.
So that was when I got really into Aphex Twin.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I feel like the super heady, like, I hate the term IDM, but that's what we call it.
Yeah.
That stuff works better on headphones as like a solo listening experience. And then like when I would listen to the kind of stuff I just played, like on AirPods, I wouldn't really get it. I'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I would like prefer like the more super complicated, like robot exploding music.
Yeah. But like hardcore panning and stuff.
Yeah. But then like my friend Kaya, formerly known as Fluid Tranquility, in December of 2022, he told us to come to this event, and we were like, $30, like what is that? It turns out like that was like our first Future Classic that we were all at.
Oh yeah.
So like experiencing it there, like we got in, we didn't leave until it was over, and then we walked outside and like we couldn't believe we were still in Minneapolis. We were like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
So then it just became constantly chasing that feeling, I guess. And then also,
when was that? What was that?
December of 2022. So that must have been his birthday show.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, Carbon Town had started by then, but it was only 6 months old. But that going into 2023, that was the IntelliFunk 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
And I went to California Street for the first time for their New Year's party.
Yeah.
So then I was like, 25th anniversary of this thing. It's newsworthy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got to know Steve, and the rest of that scene and going there was, you know, covering that. It's cool because we actually won a Minnesota Society of Professional Journalists Award for like covering like warehouse raves, which was really dope.
What?
And it was nice to be able to tell Jasmine and Steve's story too, with that piece.
This is sick.
So yeah, just getting out and experiencing it. And then I think 2023 as well, in March of that year was the first time I went to BASSment in New York, because I was on a trip out there. Then yeah, a lot of experiences in 2024 as well. That was Wire Festival. And then also the Great Beyond for the first time too last year was just like, because beyond just like the music, I feel like just like the kind of utopian environment.
Totally.
I had just never been to a camp out or anything like that before, but I just remember thinking like, wow, like I had no idea like stuff like this had existed.
Dude.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. It's a really good time.
Yeah.
Getting to go outside and like hang out. I mean, this year's was, from what I heard, fucking hot.
Yeah.
And last year's, what I remember, I was only there for like 24 hours and then I had to bounce home. And that was hot too. It was fucking like scorching. But once like night hits, you know, it's like perfect.
Yes.
Like, it's cool. The dance floor is like really moving. Everybody's getting really into it. Man, your first experiences into a lot of these like spaces are really cool. Like that's a lot of my first experiences into actually attending a lot of these shows were so strange. Like because it was in, you know, like the 20 or not 20 09 and 2010 area where like there's this transition of a lot of music happening, and it like it was like pretty broy.
Yeah, I mean that was
better
like
words.
yeah. And that was like kind of the bro step era, right? Or a little before then.
Yeah, it was like it was right. That's when it was like launching. Like all of a sudden, dubstep became much more popular here, and it was getting less and less kind of rooted in its original sound with like you know, break influence and like garage influence, and turning more into just like jump up drum and bass influenced sounds and taken to, you know, Mars. And it was cool because it was new, but it brought with it a lot of like very interesting activities. And
I can imagine.
yeah, I think what was really fun for me was eventually finding my way into the places that you were introduced into like really early into your like introduction into the sound scape of like all this stuff with Future Classic. Hitting Future Classic for like one of like your first real experiences in front of a sound system is so sick.
I mean, we were so lucky here because that is literally like world class.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Minnesota is you guys don't understand what you have here. I think there's a lot of people that just haven't traveled. Like you have that think that there's like all this stuff going on all over the place. But it's like there's only a small chunk of like cities here and there that really have something like Minnesota does, and we have stuff all the time.
Yeah, and with the warehouse, how it is now too, like the last season and like 2024 as well, like that level of talent coming here, and then also the level of talent we have in the Twin Cities, because the people you've platformed, the people that we platformed with Carbon Sound, like there are a lot of people here I think that could play anywhere, like you.
But yeah, it's been these guys up here have me locked down. These little kids have me locked in for a bit. But yeah, I have had a lot of fun getting to travel over the years, and would love to eventually do that again. I was even talking in the group chat, and I was like, because I forget what is that. They have it all the time. It's in New York. It's in the shipping container. Like like a stream.
The lot radio.
The lot radio. I was
Mhm.
like, dude, Jack, we should go do a lot radio takeover and just get like all of the Minneapolis people that have moved out to New York and just have like this big takeover.
I would pull up for sure.
That would be sick,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, lot radio's super tight, but yeah, Carbon Sound is something I really wanted to bring up too. Like, so you started Carbon Sound right before you went to Future Classic.
Not right before, it was the same year.
The same year, okay.
Yeah. It was like the concepting and stuff in early 2022, and it launched in June of 2022.
Okay.
So about 6 months before getting into all that.
Yeah. So it was like really close together. What got the movement into Carbon Sound like happening? Like what made you like feel like, oh man, I gotta do something, I gotta do this? Like where did that platform start and come from?
I mean, it was kind of just necessity, to be honest with you. So I started at Minnesota Public Radio in 2021 as an intern at The Current. That was my first job out of college. And then my first day there, I heard about, this grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to start a new urban alternative stream, which is what they're calling it back then.
Yeah.
The corporation was giving them to like those grants to stations around the country, I think since like 2020.
Yeah.
But my manager at the time told me The Current was applying for one. And during my time at Radio K, I started this thing called the Vanguard, which was their like 24/7 online hip hop and R&B stream.
Sick.
So it sounded like, oh, The Current's trying to do something similar. Let me do that. And then also like internships, only 6 months. I need a job after, like, let me lock in and try to do this.
Serious.
So I was very fortunate to actually get that job at the end of the internship, and then building it up and trying to use what I learned in the Vanguard. We had like all these surveys go out to like local artists, and part of the grants was like, they had like focus groups, and a lot of it was just coming from in here too, in terms of like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do anything like this again. Like, how do we make something good for local artists and contribute to the local scene and not do things that I think media outlets shouldn't do, and just try to do the right thing, try to cover things people aren't covering and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's pretty much how it started. Really the grant, and then also just the confluence of like just being the, I guess, right person in the right place at the right time.
Like perfect person at the right place at the right time. That's freaking amazing. And then so that's been going on since 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the future look like?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's still going.
Yeah.
I think that right now it's just like figuring out, how to make things happen with kind of one less person.
Yeah.
Because some of people's roles are split between, The Current and Carbon Sound. It's all one family.
Right.
But my understanding is that like DJ sets are still going. You can still tune in on the website carbonsound.fm. You can listen to Sani on the air, and they'll still be doing interviews and stuff like that. So there's great people over there that are going to keep it going for the community that, believe in the mission.
Awesome. Do you think that there's a future of spreading, like, is Carbon Sound something that is like Minnesota locked in, or is that something that you would like to potentially like bring to New York and bring to other places, and like having that like larger reach, or is it more just trying to focus locally in the Minneapolis?
I think a local focus. I always kind of look to The Current because, like, there's people around the country that listen to The Current,
Big time. Yeah.
And part of that is because, like, The Current started like extremely local focused, and eventually like gained a broader national kind of like playlist, but still has the local show, has all these like local programs and features and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I always thought of it as just like a matter of like time and patience and marketing too, in terms of like, we can keep a Minnesota focus and be like a global or national thing thanks to the internet and phones, just as long as we're like reaching enough people and, something goes viral every once in a while.
Definitely. There's this dude, I don't remember if he was on The Current or it was like a random segment on Jazz 88, but he would play all the time because both. I mean, those are the two radio stations I bounce on. It's like Jazz 88 the current, Jazz 88 the current, and but DJ Black Cat, nothing.
Not ringing a bell.
All right, so
Sorry.
probably Jazz 88. But there's a DJ that would he did like some open format stuff, but would like really flex between a lot of dance music, which was really good, especially for like just being on the radio. I was like, dude, this guy's crushing. And it was like one of the best like actual segments that I could just turn on in my car, like, and just listen to it and not have to think about plugging a phone in or anything. Like,
It's a great feeling, yeah.
it is a
Have
really
it in
good
somebody
feeling,
else's hands.
right? It's like one of my favorite things. It's also like any way that I can disconnect from my phone, the better. I'm not saying that we need pirate radio. That's not what I'm saying. Pirate radio. I'm not saying we need it.
Not at all.
I'm not saying we should bring it back.
That'd
But
be cool.
it
I'll
could
say
be
it.
cool. I mean, we're not saying it, but if somebody did continue doing that, I know that there was a group that, which I won't say either, but there is a group that does some sweet pirate radio stuff every now and then that like is within the circle of like the people that we play with, and they would be out at festivals setting up this 10 and 10.
Super cool.
So sick. I was like, that's cool that somebody can just turn on their radio and like music like what we're listening to today. It's just like blasting on the radio. I was like, in the US. Sick. Like,
Yeah.
rare to have happen unless you're in like Detroit or maybe New York, but like that's, or Chicago, but Minnesota doesn't really have as much of that as they had in the past. There was like a few chunks of time like earlier like late 90s early 2000s where there was like some that you could find like deep in there that would just have like small segments, jungle music or house music stuff. And but I was a kid and my cousins were in control, so I was just like
On for the ride.
yeah, sitting back and letting it happen. So the show's still going on.
Mm-hmm.
The move is
Imminent.
and just seconds away.
Pretty much.
What could we expect from Echo? From like where? I mean, you just played. Was that in France that you had played?
Yeah, in Paris.
In Paris,
Mm-hmm.
which looked
It was sick. It was great.
insane.
Shout out to Delusion Records.
Illusion. If you guys want to check out clips from his set, go to Echo's Instagram page, which we have linked in all of the posts. Crazy setup. Like, I mean, outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, Fête de la Musique is just kind of insane. It's like, for the Minneapolis people, if like 3 Maydays was on every street, like literally just like 1 million people out, probably 3 sound systems on each block. Everybody's going crazy. And my set was at midnight, but we started like walking around at like 4 p.m. And that was the first day of the trip. So, and then it was just great being there. My friends with Delusion Records, they have that event every year, kind of in a different spot. And they all did a great job and a great lineup. So,
You had that set recorded?
no,
Had to
all
be
of our
there
sets,
moment?
like, yeah, ended up clipping super hard is my understanding of it. There's one up on YouTube though, and looks great.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So if you look up Delusion Records on YouTube, it should be on their channel.
Okay, sick. That's dope. Yeah, I was just like, I was looking through the clips. I was like, oh, I gotta ask him if he got that recording somewhere. I was like, that looked like a blast.
It was great. I felt very lucky to do that.
Serious.
For sure.
So, what does it look like future wise for shows? Do you have upcoming things planned at all yet, or?
No, I mean, I would have if I stayed here.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
you know, part of the move is kind of scary. It's like, well, you don't really know what's in front of you.
yeah.
But there's a quote. I'm not going to be able to quote it exactly, but it's kind of like when you're walking and you don't like see anything in front of you, or it's not clear, that's kind of how you know like you're on your own path.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to like, you know, really explore New York or, you know, whatever, and just kind of, you know, get a feel for like what's going on, what I think is missing, meet people. And, you know, way before I'm like banging on a door, like, I'm a DJ, book me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just like actually like meeting people and experiencing stuff and just letting things flow naturally.
Totally.
So,
That's gonna be the way for sure. I mean, that's like, I mean, that's also great advice for any young DJs that are trying to play shows. Best way to get booked is by going to the events.
yep.
Become a part of the scene. Experience what's going on. Enjoy the people. That's huge. There's been a lot of talk about that also between a bunch of us that have all been playing for a good while, where it's just like, you know, you'll get all these people asking to play shows or be a part of events, and it's like, never seen you before ever. Like, it's
Yeah.
like we talk online, but I've never seen you at these shows, and they're just like, yeah, they're expensive and stuff. I was like, yeah, we're all losing money. We totally understand that not everything is like uh super affordable to go to, but you gotta come out to a few shows before generally getting booked. It's like super rare for somebody to just be like, we're booking this person that's never been at an event.
Yeah. Especially when you're still like on a local level for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, you know, good to like kind of, it's not just about DJing, you know. I feel
Yes.
like the way I play or like whatever is kind of influenced by dance floor experience first and foremost. But then also like thinking about what it's like for the promoter, you know,
Yeah.
what kind of night does the promoter want to have? Like if you're a club DJ, like you need to be thinking about the bar. You
Totally.
need to like be thinking about like decor or like there's so many different elements to it beyond just like playing. You
Yeah.
know, playing is important and like the music is really important, but everything that's involved with it is important. And you're not gonna like know that if you're just like trying to be behind the decks all the time.
100%. That's the most real. A lot of the time, like I'll look up weather, like the
Mhm.
weather report. Like I'm like, what is it gonna be like outside before I like start putting together a folder. I'm like,
That's cool.
if it's really rainy and like weird outside, I start thinking like weird Sin City vibes. I'm like, oh, like, oh, cool. So we can make music this, or like, just, and I'm always thinking about the other artists that are playing too, like who's playing before and after me, trying to like make sure I set everybody up perfectly. So there's like,
Yeah.
even if there is a stop in between DJ to DJ, I feel like there's like a really good way to make it feel like the night still just never ends. Like uh the those few second stops like don't really mean anything if like the flow is good. Like so it just depends on what that next song starting up is. But yeah, no, I think that's really insightful for a lot of young DJs to be able to hear. And I also like that quote. What was it that
Think about the path.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've also heard that before. It's like it because if you see like the path ahead of you, you're just following somebody else's footsteps, right? Like if you can't see where you're going ahead of you, you're creating something brand new. That's pretty important, especially if you're trying to like find out who you are and like where you want to be in the world and in music and what that means. That's sick. All right, I'm gonna rip up this one question. Uh yeah, Jack was talking about, yeah, also justice for NPR. No kidding. Yeah, we're living in a hellscape.
Pretty much.
Cool thing about music, though, is like, once again, thinking about landscapes and decor. Mad Max is like a real musical genre in my mind, you know? Like, I'm like, all right, we're just gonna let this place go and light it on fire. Like, where's the soundtrack? Jack said that he had a very similar thoughts when moving to Denver when he was 25.
I bet.
Yeah, just leaving one music experience behind to go to a new place and find new stuff. Jack, you should have been here. Shouldn't have had a headache, dude. Next season we're gonna get a Jack mic.
Oh, nice.
Just have it sit back there because he's been usually our tech guy while we like transition between a bunch of stuff. So he'll be back there like clicking the buttons, making things happen. I just need to get a new mixer and then slap a mic back there, and then he'll just add in his tidbits because he's got a lot of really good things to say. I mean, Jack's got a lot of experience too. So
yeah, for sure. And Denver's a great place. Would have been like is a great place for him to have been and be.
Yeah, I think he really. I mean, let me just speak for Jack now. I think he really enjoyed chunks of living in Denver. I think when he moved back, at least in my mind, and from what I can see from the outside, I think he did really well coming back here and realizing, like, I mean, Jack and I have also talked a lot about that, playing all over the country. After you start playing in so many different cities all over the country, you just realize what Minnesota has. It's like, damn, like we do have something. It's a really weird something because of the seasons. Really screw with things, and like the politics can be really interesting in Minnesota. There's like talked about this on other episodes before, like Minnesota, or maybe I haven't, I don't know. Maybe I just talked about it after. But Minnesota has like a really weird, strange like the Minnesota nice thing. It's like I always called it Minnesota fake.
Yeah.
Like it's like nice to your face, has something to say when you're not there. And that works into our government a lot. And I think that everything, you know, after that pushes into our communities. So like our music communities and our arts communities, into our, so like they'll say that like, oh, we're very art focused, but then like certain things happen and then you have to like deal with it in very interesting ways. But yeah, I think Minnesota does overall have something very unique and special about it. I just I'm really excited to get to hear more about your experience moving out east. Like it's gonna be really sick. I mean, what you're doing right now in music at such a young age, so like pivotal to what the future looks like for all of us. I mean, you're about a solid 10 years younger than me. Knowing that, you know, 10 years before me, this is what's happening. I'm like, it gives me hope. And yeah, in a place where the world feels a bit hopeless at the moment, I'm like, oh no, there are younger kids that are like really fucking doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky here because of like the guidance that like people like you and Jack, Jen Symmetry, and like Jeff Swift, and like, you know, Steve, and all these people like Christian James, like all these older people in the scene that, you know, have a lot of guidance and have been doing this like forever, are like, you know, since like it really came here, we're like part of the foundation. So like that's the cool part about being younger here, is that there's so much to learn from and that people are like willing to share and stuff.
Totally. And I think, you know, because like Jack and I, we come from like the almost well, Jack is hitting 20 years of going out to these shows. We're hitting that 20 to 15 years of time doing this. And then there's Jen and Steve and Christian, you know, they're hitting like 30 years of doing this shit. So it's like yeah, there's like multiple generations of people that really do care about this music. And it's just sometimes you look around and you're wondering who's gonna come after this. You're like, where's the next 10 years? Like who's gonna help keep this going? Because, you know, 30 years to 40 years, people start figuring out like, oh, where do we pass this on? And then I'm now, for the first time, like pretty much since rebooting this show for the first time ever, almost in my entire life, I'm feeling actually kind of old. Like I'm not old though, but I'm feeling like, oh, I have been here for a long time, and that's like an interesting thought to me because I still, you know, think of Steve and Christian and Mark and all those guys as like Jen. Those are like the people that were really pivotal making things happen when I was your age. And I was just like, oh, these are the people making this happen. Nick Merchant was TC dubstep before TC dubstep, doing Minneapolis dubstep stuff, and like there was all these different crews, and then eventually Alex came in and started TC dubstep with a bunch of people, and that into TC Presents, and then eventually Infrasound, and then you know, now there was the Intellifunk crew from forever ago that eventually turned into Communion, that eventually TGB, and there's all the future classic stuff, but yeah, it's just cool to see you here doing this than all of the other stuff that you got going, and just knowing like we're in good hands. Like I'm like, we probably don't have to worry too much. Worry horribly about it.
I feel that. And the cool thing is there's people like younger than me that, you know, inspire me and that I've learned a lot from. Like the Pleasant Audio people, and then also people we had in the booth with Carbon Sound, this person named Major Sosa. I think their DJ moniker was Truly Humbled Under God. But just the way he was like mixing genres with a real focus on like regional sounds was super cool.
That is sick.
And also like you have the just all the crew with the Greyforia sound thing. Please is older than me, but the people that they run with for that, they're like younger DJs and stuff that are just so excited to try new things. And yeah, so really inspired by people that are younger than me too. So just that intergenerational exchange is what I think is cool about this kind of music. Cause like, I don't know, there's like, at least for hip hop, I feel like there is a hard stop on like what age you can be a rapper before you have to like start talking about like your family or like bills for the whole record or whatever. Like yeah, up to like maybe 29, and there's no like intergenerational exchange ever. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, except for like conflict. Whereas like this, we're like, I mean, some of my favorite DJs are like 60 or 70 years old. Yeah, I don't know a 60-year-old rapper that I want to listen to.
Yeah, it's like they're out there, but we're like done. They're like, you guys should sit down. Like it's over. Yeah, that's real. That's super real. That is something I don't know if I've really thought about that a whole lot. That is super sick. This is like a very forgiving craft. Like, I mean, I think because of the flexibility and ability of what you can do on this type of hardware, gives a lot more people a lot more time to be able to like continue crafting and like making new music and like playing new types of sets without it sounding like washed out even into their 60s, like, which is pretty neat. Whereas like rapping or like you know, playing in metal bands or in any other type of music where you actually have to physically like, and I mean I think of rapping as like a physical form too. To be able to keep up cadence and to be able to like have all of that takes like physical activity.
Yeah, your lungs, your breath.
To a level where I think these tools give us a bit more sway, like just like a little bit more lenient to like there's so many different ways you can be a good DJ where it doesn't have to necessarily be an aerobics exercise, which by the way, watching you DJ is an aerobics exercise. I'm like, fuck, this dude's slapping the shit out of that mixer. It was sick. I was just like the like switching bass lines and stuff and all that. Like that's like some of my favorite parts of DJing, watching people just like cut in and out bass lines and watching you do that and like slapping tracks in and out. That was sick.
Yeah, it can be very physical. And for me too, it kind of has to be, or at least like that style of like, trying to like get those kinds of transitions or just like, trying to make sense, like see if something makes sense,
Yeah.
You gotta like be able to dance to it yourself. But yeah, you can be a good DJ and like never transition at all. It's kind of crazy, right?
It's insane. Yeah. That's super real. It's it's one of those things where like being able to find the right tracks and like the right I mean there's this dude who I really want to have on the show here at some point named Mickman. And he's in Illinois, I think, but he did a set a little while ago where he was on stage and then just like pushed play and then like walked down and just stood in the crowd, and he had a whole pre-recorded set, and he was like, I'm a producer, I'm not like he's like, I can DJ, but that's not like where my talents lie. Like I just make music, and that's where he puts all of his time and energy. He just constantly producing new music. And so he put together this, like whole set of like originals that were just like flow from one to another, and put together an hour of music, and they all just like everybody dance and stuff. And I was like, I'm not even mad at that. I'm like,
respect the honesty.
Yeah, exactly. Like the honesty is like the best part, where I'm just like, oh, he's just like, yeah, I'm not like pretending to do something, but I do have skill and talent, and there's something that you do want to hear, and it will sound cool on these speakers, but we can do it together still. I'm just not gonna go up there and pretend like I'm pushing buttons when I'm not really doing any of it.
Real.
Watching you, there's no pretending. It's just fucking hardcore DJing. I love that shit. That's like Jack might still be in the chat, it's very likely, but like that was Jack and I at a super early time when we were first starting to DJ, when I was watching Jack DJing at first, even before he was DJing on CDJs or anything like that. Like just watching him like fuck with a mixer, and even the way when I was really young, one time I was watching him select a track, and the way he selected a track was rhythmic to start it, because there was only so many decks and there's all these people on the decks, so he wanted to continue doubling tunes. And so like the way he would double it, and this was before we were using like a bunch of record box or anything, like we were just playing all 140 tracks, so it's not like you had to like do much. Like it was just like select, play. But had one tune playing, the other tune was playing, they were both playing on top of each other. He wheeled one back, and as like on beat is just like 1, 2, 3. Like so, like track selected, hits cue for it to start, hears it, it's good, play, like all in like in on beat. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and then he's just like tracks in, and I was just like, oh my god. And it was just like always 2 tunes playing, like on 2 decks, making 2 decks sound like fucking 4 decks. It's just like, oh shit, this is what I want to see. Like, and learning things like that, like watching the way you were cutting in and out of tracks with the effects and with the color effects too. I was just like, oh, this is DJ school. Like, one of my favorite parts about being able to do a stream and then eventually putting it up on YouTube and like, dude, people can watch this and really fucking learn. Like, it's
dope.
It's pretty cool. I do have one question that kind of random. Your flash drive tube.
Oh yeah.
You always put it on something. You always put it on one of these and it like hangs off.
Yeah.
And I see it in like every photo of any time that you're playing. And then when I watch you play, I'm seeing it sitting there. I'm just like, is that like do you do that just out of habit, or is it like a
just
good
to keep
luck
track
charm?
of it.
Just to keep track of it?
Yeah, because this is like, I guess, waterproof and everything, and it's just like heavy, which I like.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like put it in my pocket and get like lint in there and stuff. So it's just like to keep it clean, and also just kind of a habit and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, is this like a mantra? He's like, I'm going to do a good set and I have my lucky charm here. I was like, is this like a rabbit's foot thing? I was like, what's going on?
I guess maybe. Yeah. I'm not sure.
You have to do it from now on forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, huh, because that was also something that Jack said. He was like, a little blue floating thing. And I was just like, oh, that's his like flash drive. So like, I've seen him do it at all of his sets. And he's like, oh yeah, I thought so. And I was like, yeah, it's super interesting. I'm gonna ask him about that. That's pretty funny. All right, so we're gonna hit this question. Hold it. All right. Question. How do you go about crafting a set when you span multiple genres? Or how do you decide what to play and when? Is it just what you're feeling in the moment, or do you have a process for prepping sets?
Yeah, very much a process, and actually kind of new. The whole thing, of course, starts in the software record box, and like I do make an effort to like really index the tracks in terms of like genre, energy level, kind of elements of a track. Like, you know, if it has, you know, claps, or like, you know, has rolling hi-hats, or if it, you know, it just sounds crazy on speakers. Yeah. Just like you can categorize all that, and like when you're looking for tracks that have those elements, you can just like look it up in there, and it's super powerful. And then I use
like the color coordinations?
No, not colors. Okay. I think it's the my tags. That's what I use. Yeah. And then also I just index things by like when I get them, which I also just remember a lot. So like getting ready for this set, or like for the Great Beyond, or anything really, like the first step is like, you know, digging and stuff. Usually do like a big one too if I know I have something coming up. So that's what I did. And then for the arrangement of the songs, like for this set, I started with this song by this artist called Gas. Who's like an ambient producer that I really love, and it just sounds like super moody. It sounds like it could be like in a Silent Hill game, or something. So like, at least for me, that song always like draws me in. Like it's 10 minutes, and like you just sit there like thinking about everything bad in life. And then I thought it'd be interesting. I was a huge Death Grips fan in high school. Sick. And on their first track on Ex-Military, the song called Beware, it starts with the monologue that I played. That's Charles Manson. It's like from this news broadcast he did. But I thought it was kind of interesting to play that, because like, I mean, he's crazy and insane, big time, but there's like a very cowboy kind of thing to it, and almost like super like, that's kind of like the like American go west kind of mentality. Definitely. Or just like what we're all supposed to, like what we get taught to chase. So like blending that on top of something super moody, I thought was interesting. And then like looping the last part of like whatever he was saying in those last 8 bars, and then bringing in the techno track, and then making like the Charles Manson part of the techno track, I thought was super interesting, and then bringing in a new one. So how I arrange them in Record Box actually is I go from export mode into performance mode with like 4 decks.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm literally like DJing on my computer and just like trying different things. I
Yeah.
got pretty good at just using the mouse and keyboard for it.
Yeah.
Go by key sometimes, which is nice, but then also like with this kind of music, it can and maybe should be discordant at moments.
Yeah.
So I arrange things, especially for a set like this, pretty intentionally.
Yeah.
I give myself room to breathe. Like this set, I broke away from the arrangement and actually blended in like new stuff. Like when I was, I started playing the "Work This Pussy" track with like the super like kind of harsh noise song.
Like
yeah, that was kind of like taking something else I had done and like blending it into this new thing.
Yeah.
And then like going back to like the previous arrangement. So yeah, very intentional with it. And like, yeah, if you're gonna, I mean, you can kind of go from the gut if you know the tracks well enough.
Yeah.
I've been getting so much music lately, and then also like I've been moving, so like I had to like kind of like go with like a more strict kind of arrangement.
Totally.
Otherwise, like I do like to, I mean, just no, I think that answers the question.
No, I think you nailed it. Yeah. I mean, that's I mean, I've played every single way that you could probably, well, except for pre-recording the set, everything but that. Like I've played sets before where I had arranged every single track down to the transitions, where I would even put cue points to where I want to start other tracks, just so I'm like, don't forget where you want to start this next track. And I would do that for a whole fucking hour-long set. There was like a chunk of years where I legit just had my flash drive and would show up and be like, what we're doing now. And it was like when I was just playing dubstep, like that was it. Like eventually you're like, this is, I know all these tunes enough, and I'm getting enough new music, and it's all pretty formulaic. Like I can just plug in and play at any time, and like just play to an audience and feel out what that's going to be like. And then I've done what I do a lot recently with records is I'll get all the tracks that I would want to play, knowing that I might not get to play all of them. Then I find like chunks. So I'll have like chunk of 5 records and another chunk of 5 records and another chunk of 5 records, and know those all go really well together. And then depending on what's going on, I'll like take those, like you'll even see sometimes at a set where I'll just like pull out like a fucking fat stack and I'll just move it. I'll be like, poop, and I'm gonna move that in front of this one. Like I know which one's like the start of my chunk for all of them. And I'm like, this one here. And then sometimes I won't start with that one. I'll start the next one in. But like, yeah, especially when you got moving coming up and everything else, like becoming really formulaic just makes everything feel better. And there's still so much that you're doing that's just like fucking feeling the music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, when I say arranging, I don't mean like, oh, this transition happens at this moment.
Right.
I leave a lot of room for fluidity, but like I am thinking about like, I'm able to remember like, I think the 3rd track I played, it sounds like better if instead of like, you go in at the 1, you actually wait just to be like, so 1, 2, and then you start it. So they're like kind of, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So still some degree of improvisation always, because that's what keeps it fun. And I think that's what it's about.
Totally.
But yeah, for a mix like this, or even for something like The Great Beyond, or just in general, like I really like to start intentionally and then end intentionally too. So like playing, I think that was Sound Blaster by Anthony Shake Shakir.
Yeah.
I wanted to end with that, ending with Changing Factors by Claude Young at The Great Beyond, I thought was really important too. And starting with an a cappella of The Resistance by Scan 7, initially over this song called theme from its all gone pear-shaped, which was in Stacy Pullen's DJ Kicks, so Detroit.
Yeah.
And then also going from the a cappella, actually layering in Final Frontier by Underground Resistance, this Final Frontier, Great Beyond.
Yeah.
And also just like all this Detroit stuff coming together.
Love
I thought
the
was cool.
word association with each other too. Final Frontier, Great Beyond. You're like, these are meant to be. Yeah, that shit's sick. I love that type of, that intention is so dope. I mean, just shows how much you care. And then like people that know those tracks too, and when they hear them, they're going to be like, because it's going to blow their mind as much as like you feel so passionate about it too. They'll be like, what? Like, so that's pretty fucking sick.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for where you're going and what's happening. A little bummed out that we're finally getting to sit down and do this now. Wish we could play more music together.
Me too. But it's not the end. I will be back for sure.
And I'll make my way out to New York and hit you up when I come out there. So
Please.
I've played out there a few times for this group called Subculture, and I love out east. Out east is fun. I got a bunch of buddies that are from Maryland, and a buddy that lives in Maryland right now. So that whole area is just like a little hop, skip, and a jump from each other. So
yeah.
Well, I would love it. You would play us out one more track. If there was one more track that you would want to play, you didn't get to play, but you're like, I wanna play this too. Then we'll wrap this up. And for everybody still in the chat, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of BASSment Jams, featuring the one and only Echo. This was a super, super sweet treat, and we will have his mix up on SoundCloud, his video up on YouTube, and we will be announcing the next artist in a few weeks. So thank you so much for everything, and we will see you next time. Peace.